Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Purple Noon, a podcast. I am Stephanie Conti, and I am here with the wonderful, the beautiful, the so pretty Savanna Lanausse.
All my self-confidence comes from
Yes. And also someone who, I must say, has very good taste in movies.
The ultimate compliment. The only compliment I want to hear.
Yes. Forget the looks, forget the bod, forget the brains. It's the movie recommendations that she's worthy of, you know?
That's it.
So yeah, this episode is going to be a little quickie. It's going to be just an update because we've kind of been, well, I guess I could say, like, for me, the most part, schooling has been a little bit more, como se dice, intense.
Yeah.
So I've just been, we kind of just been throwing movies here and there without a definitive set list since essentially November. And, we miss that. We miss talking about criterions and stuff like that. Like, talking about newer movies and everything is fun. But I think it's something more special in my opinion. And Savanna, you might feel this way.
Yeah.
When we get to find an old movie that maybe people don't know about that's like really great. I always think like finding an older movie that no one talks about that is awesome to be able to recommend is better than just recommending what's already out in theaters right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So before we talk about the movies that we are going to review within this year, we got to talk a little bit about something. And that is I don't want to say our mascot, but our logo and essentially the actor to kind of unify Savanna and I has announced that he is going to be, has or will soon be undergoing a assisted suicide because that is legal where he lives in Switzerland. So our beloved icon, Elaine Dalone, will be put to rest either soon or eventually, or maybe has been already, Savanna was the first one to message me about it. And how did you feel when you saw that report?
Well, I didn't understand. Well, first, I'm almost positive he's still alive. I think he just announced his plans.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand because I didn't have, we haven't heard about him too much. But reading into it, he does have what it seems to be some severe health issues. And
yeah, it looked like he had I think he had 2 strokes about 3 years ago.
So I think the topic of euthanasia is very hard and controversial, but I think, it's a very hard situation that he's in. I feel very sad that Elaine Dalone, the guy that literally sparked this whole thing, is going to pass away. I believe they did say in the near future, so I would expect probably less than a year, if anything. But I was very, very sad that, those steps were being taken.
It's very ominous. It feels a lot different because in reality, it's not that too far off than someone getting a terminal diagnosis.
Right.
But it feels a lot different.
It does feel different.
It feels, I think it has both its benefits and its, and its cons and things like that, because it's that the person is in control of their life and everything. But at the end of the day too, it just reminds us that in no way, with death and everything, we don't have control either way. Even when we think we could, we really don't, especially when it comes to, the death of people around us and stuff. So it's a really somber time for Purple Noon, and I understand, his personal choices and everything. At the end of the day, I'm 23 years old. I don't live in the body of an 86-year-old man who's had 2 strokes and possibly other various health conditions, So, I mean, with that being said, obviously Purple Noon is going to be Purple Noon forever, Now it will just be even more so of a dedication to the actor Elaine Dalone, who really just unified us. And maybe we would have gotten to a podcast at some point, but I don't know if it would have been Purple Noon. It probably wouldn't have been Purple Noon.
No.
I don't know what it actually would have been, So I guess this is a thank you so much to Elaine Dalone for unifying us, and for getting us closer to each other and helping us from a creative project that you've done, helping us spark something from that. So I think we'll always be forever grateful for that. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else that you would like to say, Savanna, before I get into our movie list and what's to come for Purple Noon?
I mean, I would love to see maybe Criterion do some kind of dedication for him, maybe some box sets, because he is in quite a few films in the Criterion. So I would hope the film community would kind of, I understand he's not the most relevant actor, but he is, you know, the most influential in terms of the Criterion. So I would love to see Criterion do something for him. Obviously, I know now, like, because it's a very weird space because he hasn't passed away yet, but there is knowledge of his passing. So it's definitely a new weird territory for everybody. But I think, you know, we should all make steps to start, you know, honoring him as an actor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think especially it's kind of like what you would do if someone was given like a terminal, you know, diagnosis and everything. You would start preparing and stuff like that. I think this is, you know, it's very, very similar, but it just emotionally feels a lot different.
Yeah.
Than when someone is announced that they have a terminal illness versus when they decide to go out on their own terms and make that information public, you know?
Right.
And not to say that I don't agree or disagree with what he's doing. That's not my place to say.
Yeah, it's a hard thing.
So, you know, it's one thing that I think also, no matter what, we'll always have a very fond appreciation for him and for his art and everything. But yeah, so we wanted to give that announcement because it hasn't made a lot of big circulation. Like every article that I see related to about it is still translated. It's still in French or maybe even Spanish or I know he's from Switzerland, but I don't know what the official language. I know he lives in Switzerland, but I don't know what the official language is there.
Right.
But you know, it's just things like that. So maybe for any film, people out there who have not heard of the news, who are fans of Elaine Dalone, you know, maybe tonight's the night that you watch a film and you think about him and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I don't want to say rest in peace because it's a little too soon, but I guess we could say like go with power or, you know, something similar to that and just, you know, thank him for being a great actor and thank him for, you know, doing films. And I think he said something very beautiful in a recent message that he posted where he was like, he said essentially that he did not act his films. He lived through them and he'll never like be, you okay?
Yeah.
So it is, I think that's very special.
Yes.
All right. Before I start bawling my damn eyes out, I'm going to go into our movie list and what to expect for Purple Noon the rest of the year and possibly depending on our schedules and stuff like that, you know, take everything with a grain of salt.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, so here's what we have listed. So we have The Godfather, Tokyo Drifter, Two Men in Town, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, Lady Snowblood and the sequel, Lady Snowblood Love Song of Vengeance, The Grand Budapest Hotel, John in the Hole, which is a very big step away from the movies that were mentioned, but I recently learned about it. It sounds very interesting.
We got to mix it up, you know?
Yes. Empire of Passion, Actor's Revenge, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Affair in Trinidad, A Kiss Before Dying, Sunflower, and A Kiss Before Dying is the 50s version, not the Matt Dillon 90s version. Sunflower, The Double, Accident from 1967, Dogtooth, Some Like It Hot, Train to Busan, After the Rehearsal, Little Miss Sunshine, World on a Wire, The Age of Medici series by Roberto Rossellini, No Country for Old Men, Upstream Color, Like Someone in Love. I do not know how to pronounce this one. I think it's Aguirre, The Wrath of God, Aguirre, the one by Werner Herzog.
Yep.
Gilda, Breaking the Waves, Alambrista, Inglourious Bastards, Tangerine, Alexander Nevsky, 1962's Lolita, Reflections in a Golden Eye, Adam Resurrected, Amelie, Last Tango in Paris, And we'll end it with Les Secrets Rouges. So essentially, we looked up how many more weeks are left in the year, and they told us 38. So we got 38 titles. Like I said, there are some things that are going to just be subject to change, just because I myself am starting to do I have labs in the summer that I have to go away for 2 weeks. Hopefully we can plan for that, and maybe even record some things there. And then also I do start rotations in the fall. They're not full time, and I'm not going to be in school at the same time of my rotation. So hopefully I have definitely time to do all this stuff. And
You're
of course,
working, girl.
things, of course, we're working, we're busy. We're busy. But yeah, so we still plan on trying to do every single Sunday at noon some type of release.
Yes.
This list that I have said possibly most likely is in order. However, things may be shifted in and out. Like, for example, when we have Lady Snowblood and Love Song of Vengeance. This might be a movie, since it's a double feature, that we do when I, don't have a break, or, when I do have a break and stuff like that. So the list is always subject to change, but this is what we want to stick with. I feel like this is a nice selection of movies, various different things and stuff like that. The one thing that I do want to add in, just because we have never reviewed a movie from this country. I would love to review some type of Indian film. So maybe we'll include that in there and put it in at some point. So that is a goal. I understand that a lot of these are coming from like European countries, some Japanese, some Korean, and things like that. We try to keep it more, it's so hard to consider because we try to keep it diverse in terms of the times movies are being made, but on top of that, to also keep in touch the countries that all of these movies are from and things like that too. Right. So it's a little bit difficult. If you guys have any suggestions or anything that you would love to see from us, please send it our way. So we have a lot of cool stuff. We got some newer, some older, some really old stuff that I think we're going to have a really good time with going over this year. Which one are you most excited for?
I feel like I'm always... I guess the ones that keep me on my toes are, of course, movies like Breaking the Waves and Last Tango in Paris. I think those are some of our best episodes just because of how insane those movies are. I am excited to hear about the one, what's it called? In the Hole?
John in the Hole.
John in the Hole. I am very interested in.
Yeah, I definitely, because the way that we went about was we picked a lot of criterions. We also picked and a lot of criterions that neither of us have seen. We've also picked movies that either Savanna has seen or wants to talk about or has not seen before. Same thing with me. I think the ones that I'm really most excited for would be like, I love The Double. I know you've seen The Double, but I love talking about that movie because no one talks about that movie. Dogtooth is something that I'm really interested in seeing. And also Alexander Nevsky, because just reading from it, it has that section in it where apparently it's like a really big, like very impressive filming sequence, like a battle sequence for its time. And I'm excited to see that. I will say too, looking at this, I'm like, I kind of want to add a Depardieu film in here. But we already have a Lars von Trier and Last Tango in Paris. So that's already a lot in and of itself with those two movies.
I'm excited. Oh, I'm also excited for more Sophia Loren films.
Yes. Me too. And yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions or anything, we'll create a list where it's like, if we can apply, we'll apply type of thing. If we end up having like, really free week, sometimes we do a few more than one episodes, that would be the time then. So if anyone has any recommendations, anything that they would love to see from us, please leave it down in the comments. You can also DM us on Instagram and Twitter and things like that. Those are all going to be linked down below. And essentially, as always, is there anything else that you wanted to mention, Savanna, before?
I think that's it. I think that's a lot of exciting news.
It's just really a quickie episode just saying, hey, update. Also, why there's no video this week, it's because it was me and my boyfriend's anniversary, and I'm very strapped for time because I'm also studying for like 2 different exams.
You deserve a break, bestie.
Thank you. And I also have a little puppy monster that takes up a lot of my days. So there's that too. But yeah, and then also I have a little old lady dog too who needed some TLC this week. But yeah, so I think that's all we have. That's our little update for you guys. As always, once again, thank you to our Patreons. So we got
Thanks.
Sensei Dave, Homeboy James, and Danny Boy. Thank you guys so much for still, despite our little
inconsistencies.
yeah, but we'll always update you guys and everything. And for those who are listening and who are part of the Patreon and stuff like that, I will be posting a message on the Patreon directly and asking what you guys want to see from us. And those are more like, oh, if you guys give us like suggestions in the comments and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, we'll look and we'll add it to our list. If you're a Patreon member and you're telling us some movie to review, by golly, oh God, we'll review it.
It's a necessity at that point.
Our Patreons, yeah, for sure. Unless it is Solo, which, by the way, I found for the first time when I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of you guys.
I've never seen it in public before. It literally had a sticker on it that said it was explicit. And, so I was surprised by that too. But
I haven't seen it in years in stores. Like the last time I saw it in stores was before the pandemic.
It was front row. I spotted it and I was like, damn, they're really advertising this one. It's
got to be like a bestseller. I'm tired of that.
It has to be. It has to be.
You guys are ridiculous for that. Ridiculous.
Having summertime's almost coming. The barbecues, cooking Franks, eating Solo.
We have to do something with that one day.
Cooking Freights, watching Solo, not eating Solo. God, don't want to eat Solo. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. This has been a little update from Purple Noon. And yeah, we will see you next time when we finally talk about The Godfather.
Good. That was
right.
Solid.
Thank you.
That was a solid intro.
I know the soundtrack from Rocco.
You're going to have to.
But we're not going to get into that right now.
The intro for The Godfather has to be you doing that because we need it.
Okay, I will. I know my role. I know my place, and I got it, Savanna.
You're going to do the background music.
Of course. As you're talking about it, you're just going to hear me. And then the soundtrack changes, so then it's just going to be singing that one song where it's like, I have but one heart.
You have to change it as we go into the film. Like different scenes require different music,
Of course. All right, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week when we talk about The Godfather. Bye.